All right, welcome to the deep dive. Today we are diving deep into the world of Vince Gironda, that bodybuilding iconoclast. And we've got his training secrets right here, ready to unpack his philosophies on training and, well, gaining weight, putting on muscle.
Yeah, people always talk about Gironda as this sort of like mythical figure who challenged all the bodybuilding norms. I'm really interested to see how his methods, drawn from years of personal experimentation and, working with all those clients, how they actually stack up today.
Totally. And for you listening, you brought this to us because you want to cut through all the noise, right? All the conflicting advice out there about gaining muscle and transforming your physique. You want to do what actually works. And Gironda's insights, well, let's just say they're definitely not your typical bodybuilding advice.
Yeah, one thing that jumps out from the start is his whole philosophy about questioning everything. He literally says rules are made to be challenged, questioned, changed, or broken completely. He was not about blindly following dogma.
Absolutely. I mean, he really stressed thinking critically about your training. He felt way too many people just go through the motions without really understanding the why behind the exercises they're doing.
Right, it's not just about lifting weights, it's about understanding the principles and the mechanics behind it all.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really fascinating. So whenever Geronda wanted to try a new exercise, he wouldn't just, add it to his routine for a week or two. He committed to doing it consistently for at least 9 months before even considering whether it was effective enough to recommend to others.
Wow, 9 months, that's serious dedication to personal testing. You don't see that kind of commitment to long-term validation very often these days.
Right. And it speaks to his rigor, his patience in really understanding the long-term effects of his methods. It wasn't about chasing quick fixes. He wanted to see sustained results before making any judgments.
Makes you wonder what we could learn from that approach today, with so much emphasis on instant gratification and quick results.
Totally. And what's also cool is he wasn't afraid to adapt and change his mind based on the results he saw. He famously said, if the old, worn patterns fail to produce, throw them out. It was all about being results-oriented. If something didn't work, you ditch it and find what does.
That's such a refreshing perspective. It's like he's saying, don't be afraid to experiment and evolve your training.
Absolutely. And, when it came to building muscle, Gironda was very specific. He wanted what he called quality muscle mass. He aimed for improving body symmetry, not just adding pounds to the scale.
That makes sense. It's about strategically building muscle to address weak points and create a more aesthetically pleasing physique.
Right. And there's this great story about Larry Scott, who started at 157 pounds and eventually reached 207 pounds, winning his final Mr. Olympia title. Gironda emphasized that Scott achieved this the right way.
Oh, interesting. So how did Scott do it?
Well, Gironda explains that Scott focused on his weaker areas, particularly his deltoids and arms, to compensate for his naturally narrow clavicles. He built muscle in a way that specifically enhanced his overall proportions.
Ah, so it wasn't just about gaining weight indiscriminately. It was about intelligent, targeted muscle growth to improve his shape.
Exactly. And Scott's success, winning Mr. Olympia, really speaks volumes about the effectiveness of this approach.
It does. And, there's another example. Gene Mosey, who put on a significant amount of muscle, going from 150 pounds to 220 pounds with 20-inch arms, he credited Gironda's weight-gaining advice for this transformation. These aren't just theoretical concepts. We see real people achieving incredible results using his methods.
For sure. So let's get into some of the specifics. What were those weight-gaining procedures Gironda recommended?
Well, one of the central themes in his approach was the importance of blood in muscle growth. He actually recommended taking desiccated liver tablets and a strong B-complex vitamin every 3 hours to increase red blood cell count and overall blood volume.
Desiccated liver, that's an interesting one. Why liver specifically?
Well, Gironda believed that blood builds muscle, and desiccated liver was a great source of nutrients that support red blood cell production. B-complex vitamins, on the other hand, are essential for various metabolic processes related to energy production and tissue repair. It's all about ensuring that your body has the raw materials it needs to build muscle.
Right, so it's about fueling muscle growth from the inside out, so to speak. And I think he also mentioned something about iron and wheat germ oil.
You're right, he highlighted those as important oxygen carriers, further emphasizing the significance of efficient blood flow and oxygen delivery to the working muscles.
Okay, so blood health is a key component of his weight-gaining strategy. What else did he suggest?
Well, he also recommended some interesting dietary swaps. Like, for example, he advised raw milk instead of coffee for those looking to put on weight.
Raw milk, that's kind of a throwback, isn't it?
It is, but it's actually quite calorie and nutrient dense, making it more supportive of weight gain compared to coffee, which has fewer calories and different effects on the body.
That makes sense. And then there were his specific dietary rules, which seemed pretty detailed.
Yeah, he was big on eating smaller, more frequent meals, like every 3 hours to ensure a consistent supply of nutrients to your muscles.
Ah, so it's about keeping your body in a constant state of growth and repair rather than having these big peaks and valleys in nutrient intake.
Precisely. And he also stressed the importance of never letting yourself get hungry and never skipping meals. The idea was to constantly fuel your body for growth.
Makes sense. And I remember reading something about smoking being a no-no.
Oh, yeah, he was adamantly against smoking. He said it constricts capillaries, those tiny blood vessels, which hinders nutrient delivery to your muscles. Plus, smoking depletes vitamin C, which is crucial for tissue repair.
So smoking basically undermines all the hard work you're putting in at the gym and in the kitchen.
Exactly. It's counterproductive to muscle growth. Another interesting point he made was about controlling your emotions. He said you need to calm down and slow down to prevent being in a constant catabolic state.
Now, how does that tie into gaining muscle?
Well, think about it. Chronic stress and tension create a catabolic environment in your body, meaning you're breaking down muscle tissue rather than building it up. His advice to calm down emphasizes the importance of recovery and minimizing stress hormones that can hinder growth.
That's a fascinating connection. And then there's that unusual suggestion about elevating your legs after eating.
Yeah, he recommended sitting or lying down with your feet and legs elevated to help digestion. The idea is that it allows blood to circulate more evenly around the stomach, optimizing the digestion process and nutrient absorption.
So it's about getting the most out of the food you're eating, making sure your body can actually utilize those nutrients effectively.
Right. And he also suggested avoiding energy-draining recreational sports like football or softball because they could potentially hinder muscle growth and weight gain.
I guess it makes sense. If your goal is to build muscle, you want to focus your energy on that, not deplete it with other intense activities.
Exactly. It's about prioritizing your primary objective. Now, there's also this, how do I put it, this unique European weight gaining trick that he mentioned.
Oh, right. Drinking equal parts cream and ginger ale between meals. He recommended it at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m., and said he'd seen students, particularly football players, gain up to 40 pounds with it.
Sounds like a recipe for some serious calorie intake. The cream provides fat and calories, and the ginger ale probably adds simple sugars for energy. Plus, the ginger ale might make the cream more palatable.
That's an interesting one for sure. Definitely not your typical bodybuilding nutrition advice.
Right. And then moving on the dietary aspects, he really emphasized the importance of having a consistent routine for eating, training, and sleeping.
The body likes predictability, right?
Exactly. Establishing regular patterns helps optimize your hormonal balance, your recovery processes, and how your body utilizes nutrients. He wasn't a fan of those 3 huge meals a day either.
Yeah, he felt like the body couldn't process all that food efficiently in one go. It's interesting, he raised this question about why we often crave more food than we actually need.
Yeah, and he believed it often stems from a lack of essential nutrients, minerals, vitamins, and enzymes in our diet. He said that if your diet isn't nutrient-dense, your body might keep signaling hunger even if you've eaten enough calories, leading to overeating.
It's like your body's trying to get those missing nutrients, even if it means eating more than it needs calorically. And this really ties back to his focus on quality weight gain.
Absolutely. It's not just about the quantity of food. It's about the quality and the nutrients it provides. And then there's that whole mind-body connection aspect of his approach.
Right. He talked about the teachings of Zen, Hatha Yoga, and Judo, and how we can lose touch with our body's natural wisdom.
It's like he's saying that we need to cultivate a deeper awareness of our body's signals and needs, something that's easy to overlook in our busy lives.
Absolutely. And he observed that many of those champion bodybuilders, like Larry Scott, Sergio Oliva, Frank Zane, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, they all had this incredible ability to concentrate. They were totally focused on their training and their goals.
It highlights the mental discipline involved in reaching that level of physical excellence. It's not just about the physical work, it's about the mental focus and commitment you bring to your training.
And he talked about the power of visualization, too, vividly imagining your desired outcome as if you've already achieved it, whether that's winning a competition or sculpting the perfect physique.
The power of visualization is well documented in sports psychology. By creating that mental image of success, you can boost your motivation, build confidence, and even influence your physical responses.
So to recap our deep dive into Vince Gironda's training secrets, we've covered a lot. We've got his emphasis on questioning conventional wisdom, the importance of targeted muscle gain for shaping your physique, his unique dietary and lifestyle recommendations for weight gain, the value of routine, and that crucial mind-body connection.
Right, and for you listening, we really encourage you to think about which of these principles resonate with you and your goals. Take a look at your current training and nutrition. Are there any areas where you could experiment with Gironda's approach?
Exactly. And here's a final thought to consider. Given Gironda's focus on listening to your body and challenging norms, what widely accepted training or nutrition rules do you think you might want to question or experiment with in your own pursuit of your ultimate physique? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.